Hi there, friends. Here I am back again for another math lesson. What I want you to do before we start this lesson is to grab something to write with. So pause the video because I want you to write down a few things to help yourself so that you know your homework will be easier for you. So I want you to have the notes with you as you do this, okay? So go ahead and pause the video, grab some paper, and come back. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to talk about writing expressions today. So you're going to be reading a sentence and writing, what kind of math problem would you write for that phrase that they give you. So to start this, we need to learn about some math words that you already know. This is already a review. But if something in the problem is telling you to add, some words that we look for are things like more than, added, plus, greater than. Okay, these are some words we're going to look for today. How about when we subtract? Let's think of some words for that. So subtract. So less than, take away, minus. Okay, those are some words that we look for when we're supposed to subtract. How about multiply? Well, one main word we would look for is times. Okay, let's talk about divide. We want to look for fraction words. Okay, such as half as many, a third as many. Okay, so, and we're going to add to this list as we go on, but I want you to get a good start with looking for math words that tell us what to do. So, the first part of this lesson, and I'm on page in our book, okay, I'm on page 462 if you have your digital book or your hard copy book, okay, I'm on page 462. So, right here, okay, $8 more than Ryan earned. Okay, so right away what I'm going to do on all of my problems today is I'm going to circle the math words that tell me what to do. More, or you can circle more than too. Okay, so more than. So I know right away that I have to add. That's an adding word, okay? We don't know how much more than, so that is our variable. So when you don't have a number that goes with this, then that's your variable, but it's 8 more than whatever he earned, okay? 8 more than what he earned. So right here it tells us D plus 8, okay? Because it told us it was 8 more than what Ryan earned. Do we know what Ryan earned? No, so that's our variable. I know I'm repeating myself, but I need you to hear those words, okay? Example 2, $10 less than the original price. I would go ahead and underline 10. I would circle less than. That tells me I'm going to subtract. Okay, so I have my two things, less than the original price. Do we know what the original price is? No. So that is our variable. Okay, the thing we don't have a number for, that's our variable. So over here we have P, okay, that's our price. It's $10 less than this price, so it's P minus 10. It's super important for subtraction that you really follow the words that they're saying. So $10 less than the original price. So the original price minus $10. It is not 10 minus P. It is not 10 minus P. It's not $10 less the original price. That's how you would change that. That's what you would look for. Okay? All right. So let's look at example 3. 4 times the number of gallons. 4, there's a number there, times, okay, so we know we're going to multiply the number of gallons. Do we know the number of gallons? No, that is our variable, okay? So right here it tells us 4 times the number of gallons, okay? So 4 times, and we don't know how many gallons there are, so we're gonna say G. Now, I'm not going to go hard on you for this lesson, but I want you to know that we don't use x, and we've talked about this before for multiplying. We say 4.g because the x looks like a variable when we're doing algebra. And we talked about that before in January and February, how we stop using x to multiply and we start using a dot, okay? So 4 times g would be our answer. So let's go through these examples. 4 points fewer than the Bulls scored. First of all, let's circle some math words. We have 4, so we know that's going to be part of our problem. Fewer, we can add that to our list over here of words we're looking for. Fewer, 4 points fewer, that's going to tell us to subtract, than the Bulls scored. Do we know what the Bulls scored? No, we don't, so that is our variable. Okay, so we need to put first that what the Bulls scored. So we're going to put B over here because we don't know what the Bulls scored, but we know it's 4 points less than whatever they scored. So -4. Notice I put -4 after what they scored. It is not 4 minus B. It's not 4 points minus what the Bulls scored. That doesn't make sense. So these are the type of problems when you're doing them, you really need to talk them through either out loud or in your head, but you really need to talk them through so that they make sense. Because it's super important to do that when we're doing subtraction. Addition and multiplication, we know we can flip any other way, but subtraction and division can only go one way. So let's look at letter B. 12 times the number of feet. So 12, okay, times, that tells us to multiply the number of feet. Do we know the number of feet? Nope, that is our variable, okay? So 12 times the number of feet, okay? 12 times the number of feet. Now, you're not solving any of these because they're not telling us what the variables are worth. So all we're doing is writing the expression. That's what this whole lesson is for. Okay, the total cost of a shirt and an $8 pair of socks. So the total cost of a shirt, do we know what the cost is? No, that would be our variable in this problem. And, now this is tricky, and in this instance would be to add, okay? Now we can add that to our list of words over here. And. Okay, and an $8 pair of socks. So the total cost of a shirt, we said it's our variable. So we'll use S plus 8 for the pair of socks. So that's what we're going to write for our answer. Okay. All right, now the next part, we get a little bit trickier. Okay, so we're going to start, we really are going to have to read these very carefully. So let's look at example 4. Now we're writing two-step equations. So now these are going to have 2 steps and we have to have them written correctly. So write the phrase 5 less. So what does that tell us to do? Subtract. Then 3 times, multiply, the number of points as the number of points and write it as an algebraic expression. So do we know what the number of points are? No, that would be our variable. Okay, so 5 less. Now we're going to look up here again. Remember how we said subtraction usually comes after the variable, and it will in this instance as well. Okay, 5 less than 8 times. So we're going to write something like, and I know they have it written for you right here, but we're going to do, or I'm sorry, 3 times. I circled that and blocked the 3. 3 times the number of points. Now we can do 3 times P, or we can do 3P. The letter and number next to each other mean multiply. 5 less than the number of points, 3 times the number of points. Okay, so 3 times the number of points minus 5. So let's look down here at this. Write the phrase $3 more than 4 times the cost of a pretzel as an algebraic expression. So 3 more, we know we're going to add. 4 times the cost of a pretzel. So 4 times, it's going to tell us to multiply as well. And the cost of a pretzel, we don't know what that is. They don't tell us, so that is our variable. And I would like it very much if you would mark your problems up like that so you can see what you're doing. Okay, so 3 more, so I'm going to put 3 plus, so 3 more, 4 times the cost of a pretzel. Okay, so 4 times P, 4 times the cost of a pretzel. Now, I also want to tell you, because you guys worry about these kinds of things, that I don't care what variable you use. Doesn't matter. As long as you have the problem down right, doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong for variables. Okay, so I want to go through just a couple more, okay, because I just want to make sure that you got it. Now, you can stop the video now if you want, if you feel like you got it, but if you feel like a little bit more of a walkthrough, let's go through a couple of these. So I'm going to go right over here to the independent practice. Okay, 6 feet less than the width. Okay, we know 6 is a number we're going to use. Okay, less, this tells me to subtract. And this, the width, they don't tell me the width, so that is my variable. But it's 6 less than the width. See how I'm saying that out loud? 6 less than the width. So the width has to come first. So I'm going to do W minus 6. Okay. 6 hours more per week than Theodore studies. So we're going to circle the 6 hours. That's a number we're going to use. More tells us to add. Then Theodore studies. Do we know how much he studies? No, that's our variable. Okay, so 6, we know we're going to add Theodore studies, so I'm going to use S. 6 more than Theodore studies. Okay, let's look at number 3. 6 years, I'm going to circle that, that's a number we're going to use, less, so that tells us to subtract, then Tracy's age, and they don't tell us the age, so that's our variable. Okay, 6 years less than Tracy's age. So what it's going to be is T, Tracy's age, minus 6 years. Okay, so when you think of this, think about your siblings. Like your sibling is, 4 years, my sibling, for example, my sister is 4 years less than my age. You don't know my age, but you know you have to start there because I'm the oldest. It's not her age minus 4, it's my age minus 4. Okay. Now, number 4 is a 2-step problem. 2 less than 1/3. So 2 less, subtract. Then 1/3 of the points. So this is another one we're going to use, okay? 1/3 of the points that the Panthers scored. We don't know what they scored, so that's our variable. Okay, now remember, for this one, we're talking about division. We're looking for fraction words. Okay, half as many, 1/3 as many, and we have one in this one, 1/3. Okay, so we can say 2 less. So we know subtraction usually comes after, so we're going to put that in less. So 1/3 of what the Panthers scored. So it's actually what the Panthers scored, P divided by 3, and you can write it like that, minus 2. Now, since this is a fraction, you can write it this way as well. You could say 1/3 of what the Panthers score. You can do multiplication. 1/3 of, because if you multiply 1/3 times P, it's going to give you 1/3 of their score minus 2. Okay. All right, let's look at this story problem, and then I'm going to end it. The United States House of Representatives has 35 more members than 4 times the number of members in the United States Senate. Okay, so let's go through this sentence first. 35 more, so 35 more we're going to add, okay, then 4 times, okay, this is multiply, the number of members in the Senate. We don't know what the Senate is, so therefore that is our variable. Define a variable and write an expression represent the number of members in the House of Representatives. So let's do that first. There's 35 more members than 4 times my variable, 4P, plus 35. Now, you can write that any way. You could say 35 plus 4P, okay? So we wrote our expression. Then pay careful attention to your story problems today because they're might want you to solve a little bit. Then find the number of members in the House of Representatives if there are 100 members in the Senate. Okay, so 100 is what they want us to fill in for our variable. So now we're going to solve 35 plus 4 times 100 equals, so let's work that out, 35 plus, we're going to do multiplication first, 400 equals 435. Okay, if you guys have any questions at all, please reach out to me. I'm happy to sit with you one-on-one and work on this. I know this is a little bit more complicated critical thinking, but I know this class and I know you're going to do great with it. Okay, so have a great day and look for your homework on McGraw-Hill today for this.